when it comes to a toddler doing all the fuss about eating. Shweta has been an author, an NLP practitioner, and has been talking to various moms at various communities, enlightening them on how to bring up a fussy eater. Shweta, how are you doing today? And I welcome you at the BabyChakra platform for the live session.
Hey, thank you so much, Pooja. Thank you. I'm so glad that I'm here.
Right. When we talk about fussy eaters, we generally label them or categorize them as, picky eaters just because their choices have become very vivid. They pick up different things. And when it comes to the age group of, 1.5 to probably 4.5, this is the time when the mothers are experiencing a lot of tantrums thrown by the toddler. So, over here,
Mhm.
Shweta, how would you like to, let our viewers know on the fact that should we label them as picky eaters or fussy eaters?
So, Pooja, this is very common, something I have noticed across all the parents or adults. It is very easy to give a name to everyone. So that's how we
Correct.
are wired. But definitely don't give a name to your toddler. It's it's I have seen a lot of moms saying that मेरा बच्चा खाता नहीं है. He is a fussy eater. He is a picky eater. I would say that really go to your child and see the patterns what they follow, and then
Okay.
go and see what you can give them according to those patterns. Most of the time, it's not just the food; it's different behaviors also, which you need to consider before labeling your child or before putting him in a bracket.
Right. So, Shweta, generally what happens is, very many moms are worried for whether the child will be meeting up their nutritional requirements. So, as a psychologist, can you just help us explain the mindset that a mother should have, or the potential mindset the mothers can have when the child is not eating well? How can she
Hmm.
focus on not being behind the child for this?
Hmm. 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 Yes. Uh, so as a mother, something because I have two sons, my elder one is 11 and my younger one is 7. So I really understand what those mothers are going through because we have born and brought up in a way that you have a plate and there are seven different things. You should fulfill proteins, carbs, and all those things, the nutritional requirement. But when you come to the level of the child, it's lot more sensory requirement that the child is going through when it starts 2.5 years to 4 years or 5 years, he or she understands only three things. That is the food that he can feel, the food that he can touch, see, and taste. Right?
Correct.
So these three, four things you need to consider before giving whatever food it is. Because I have seen, like my son, if he prefers to eat chicken at times, so one day I gave him a barbecue chicken without any bones and he was fine eating it. Other day I made it with gravy and I served him and I said, "बेटा कल तो खाया था, आज क्यों नहीं खा रहे हो? It is the same chicken." But you don't understand, for the child, one day before it was a different food altogether and today it's a different dish. So
Correct.
you really need to not carrot every day. Probably he would like. So for him, it is soup sometimes. So eating the same food, not saying that this is carrot which you ate yesterday. Today it is also the same. Where the child is coming from and just noting down
Right. That is such a beautiful point noted, that the sensory requirements of a child need to be taken into consideration. Well, I had this problem for my kids' upbringing. My younger one was to be labeled as a picky eater. Okay. And I had a story that he would choose only a few items when it comes to eating. Now, I tried to, balance it out by giving other dishes, but he would just refuse. So, as a mother, would you like to share, your thoughts upon why does a child do this? He only picks up the things which he likes, and Why can't we relate that, why is he doing this? I mean, I'm still clueless till now, though I cannot label him as a fussy eater, but I need to understand that why do kids do such things? Shweta?
Please
Hello?
repeat the question again. I was not able to hear you. Yeah.
Yes. Am I audible now? Am I audible now, Shweta?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
You are
My
audible, Pooja.
question to you is, my child was a picky eater, though I
Mm-hmm.
labeled him as a picky eater. And he
Mm-hmm.
had very limited choices.
Mm-hmm.
And the same struggle that I'm having it at this point of time, though he is a grown up, but he
Hmm.
has very limited choices. Okay.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
yesterday, when you were sharing your story that, places make a difference, family makes a difference. So,
Hmm.
can you just throw a little light on how do we not judge these children and give them, make them the food available without, having these compromises in the nutrients?
Okay. Pooja, first and foremost important thing is your intention. Like, what do you want from the child? So, do you really want to fulfill the nutritional requirements, or you want to match them what others are doing? Like, your mother-in-law is saying something else, your friends are saying something else, the teacher is saying something else. What is your intention? Do you want to fulfill what they are saying, or do you
Right.
want to fulfill the nutritional need of your child? If he or she is a picky eater and taking all the nutritional requirement which is required, you need not force him to eat something more or less. Just be patient. It's just a phase, probably it will pass. One more thing I can add on.
Very shortly. Yes.
Yeah. So one thing which I have seen along with my own children is stacking of habits that works
Okay.
wonders. When I say
Okay.
stacking of habits, meaning, so if your child is eating a mango, along with the mango, if he is not eating a banana, just put two slices of banana and
Right.
just put it there. Have a poker face. Don't really force him to eat. Probably it's in the table, on the table. He will pick and try.
Right.
So just be patient.
Okay, that gets me to another question, which is very, very, probably useful for our viewers. Like in this pandemic, 2019 was a year with a lot of busy and, happening things around. But 20 and 21 taught us to be at home.
Mhm,
And the children born during at that point of time were in-house. The social meetings were relatively very, very less. And now
mhm,
when they have started schooling, the
mhm,
mothers are facing a little problem out over here, saying that their child is not adjusting or not finishing their tiffins. So
mhm,
this is a very common here and say from my friends that उसका डब्बा वैसे ही वापस आता है.
mhm.
And can we put them into, like, they are into fussy eaters category, or can we label them because of the situation, or how, what would be a possible way out for these mothers to look at this from a problem point of view and a probable solution looking towards this?
Okay. So fussy eaters or picky eaters don't name the child just in front of them because they will attach to that label. So don't say those words again and again. Because if you say a good boy, he will say, I am a good boy. If you say a bad boy, because those words, they don't know the meaning. It's we who are bringing those words alive in front of them.
Yes.
So it's a strict no, no, don't use labels at all. And when you are sending tiffin for your child, make sure you put some things which they like to eat. Don't experiment with the child is away from you, because initially it's a lot of separation anxiety because 2.5 years the child has not been with you, right? And then he's going away from the house, going away from the family. It's a different environment altogether, and the child is already coping up with so many things. So just be mindful of that and just put things which are of his taste and his choice, that brings happiness on his face and makes him remember that mama is here along with me in my tiffin box, because this is mama's taste. So he will remember you over there, and that's the most beautiful thing you can offer your child. I have seen mothers कि अच्छा ठीक है, teachers के पास probably he will eat because teachers will say finish it tiffin and he's going to finish it. So probably once or twice that will happen, but not always.
Correct. Absolutely. Right. That brings me to another point of view, that you had a story to share about your child. So if you are happy and if you want to share it, I mean, our viewers would love to know probably the way of upbringing your younger one, because that was a beautiful story that you had shared with me.
Yes, so in 2014, my son was born, and I we were relocated to Korea for a couple of years. He was 30 or 40 days old when we reached there. The temperature was kind of -20. We stayed in a hotel for 2 to 3 months, and then we moved to our house. So it was just me, my husband, my elder one, so just four of us. So kind of it was a pandemic at that time for me, because me and my little one were left home alone, husband at work and my elder one in the school. I brought him all by myself. So when he was sleeping, I just left him there, and no noise at all. And when he woke up, I was really busy in the work, so hardly he used to find time to be with him all the time. I know most of the parents would be able to relate with this, that you really want to spend time, but then you don't have that much, right? So when I came back to India, everybody was there on my head saying that how have you brought up this child? He's not going along with anybody. He doesn't know how to eat. He's just fixed with a couple of food. And that was when I realized, and I took up psychology and these things as a subject to explore the children more, to see how can I help them? How can I not label my own child? How can I help him come to their level really on the knees to understand what their requirements are as a mother? Yeah.
So beautifully said. When you hear about these society labels, the mother gets really fierce. And am I the mother's guilt? Basically, am I doing the right thing, or comparison when it comes to a joint family, or basically now we are all nuclear family. So when we have a family gathering, when we have get-togethers, now that has started happening, opening up, and then we see that children are probably called out by different names. You're not doing this, you're not doing this, these norms. And as a mother, I feel that we carry that guilt with us, and it becomes a kind of a pressure for us. What do you feel about this when we angrily pass it on to our child, when it comes to not even his mistake, it's not his or her mistake, but that reaction to that emotion gets very fearsome? What do you have your thoughts upon this?
Uh, I I can so much so relate to this. When I came back from Korea, I ended up visiting a pediatrician because everybody around me, even the teachers, were saying that this child is not eating well. He's not getting along with children. Probably he is dyslexic. He has speaking issues, so he need a speech therapist. So it was not me, but a lot of people around me, even the teachers, labeling the child. So I ended going to a pediatrician to ask, what can I do about all these things? And then she said that it's absolutely fine. Just give him some time, just give yourself some time, and things will be okay. So when I went on my journey of mindfulness, exploring and meditating and sitting along, I came to the realization. It was a big revelation for me to see it's us who need a time out first and foremost. Thing when you are talking to your child, probably you are angry, probably you are burnt out. So rather than giving your child a time out, you should sit down for some time, take a time out for yourself, Breathe in, breathe out, get centered, and see that your anger is not there. You are no more fierce to that child, because the first time when you were holding it, the feeling was completely different. How can you change from that mother to this mother who is scolding the child? Right? So just getting back some time for yourself, taking that time out and coming back again is really going to help. Actually, that has helped me a lot. So when I am not in a mood, I say that I am not in a mood right now. Can I take some time out for myself? Then I'll come back and talk again.
That is such so beautifully said, Shweta. Yeah, when we are looking for our me time, and then when we communicate with our children, probably when they are in that age of understanding, then it becomes very, very easy. That brings me to one question that a mother of twins is having a little difficulty in understanding that both her children are of different, personas. But when it comes to eating habit, it's going a little difficult for her, and managing their choices becomes a little tiresome because she has
Mhm.
to cook for this one and then for this one.
Hmm.
So what would be the mantra that you would suggest over here to keep her calm and follow the way the thing should be?
So Pooja, at least she should have somebody who can help her out along with those two children, because it's not easy journey. So if there will be two people, it's easy for both of them to take time out. When she's managing the one, somebody else can manage the other one, or just sit along, whether it is dada, dadi, nana, nani, anybody, just sit along with the other child. And when it
Okay.
comes, yeah, and when it comes to eating, I see what mamas do mostly is, because they are working moms mostly with whom I meet, they have very limited time with themselves. So mostly the either the television is on, or because you are cooking and feeding at the same time, you have put the food on the table and then you are back to the kitchen and bringing it again. So that really makes it hasslefull for mothers as well as the children. I would suggest that sit down with both your children, you also, your husband also, find some time, at least one meal in the entire day. Sit down with the child, whatever you have, just put it in the plate and keep it in your plate as well. Make sure whatever if you have a screen or a music, just turn it off, because if it is a lot of stimulus around, it's very difficult for the child to focus. So that is your food time. It should be properly routined first and foremost thing. If it is 4 o'clock, it should be 4 o'clock every day, until and
Correct.
unless you are going out somewhere. So time it out. Sit down. Everybody sit down on the table at that time. Turn out all the other stimulus. Pour the food in the whatever your vessels are, and then sit down with your child. Ground yourself, take a one or two breath, or if you have a ritual which you follow, like just a small mantra chanting or holding hands, whatever you want to do, or just couple of breaths, or a joke to crack for that matter, right?
Correct.
And then you first you start eating and let the child explore. As I said, the sensory awareness, the sensory processing is very important. Let him explore, let him mess up, that's absolutely fine. We are here to clean it up. Probably 10 years down the lane, even if you want to feed your child, he's not ready, mama, I'm grown up, अब मुझे क्यों खिला रही हो?
Correct.
So right now is the time, let him explore.
Right. Shweta, very, very rightly put in. And the mantra that you said, getting a help or asking a family member to be a part of the meals is very, very necessary. Now, that gets me to another question. A mother is asking that she is able to manage the main meals of her children who are 1.5 and 2.5. But when it comes to, choices of when going out in the market, or taking going for a trip, or probably a visit to the market, it becomes difficult because the children pick up anything that they see from the shelf, and
Hmm.
at that point of time we cannot say no to them.
Hmm.
But the tantrums that they throw during in the shop, and we have also seen this as moms, that unko wo chocolates hi chahiye, wo biscuits hi chahiye, and at that point of time when we say no, they cry out with a lot of noise and create that ruckus, which we feel as like an embarrassment. But is this a kind of a normal behavior, and is this okay for a mother to deal with?
Okay, Pooja, what I have seen is we are the one who expose to different things to our children firstly. When you talk
Yes.
about screen also, we are the one who open the screen and put it in front of them. When you talk about a chocolate, the child doesn't know what is a chocolate. We are the one, we open the bar and we just hand it over. When we are out or when we are busy, we switch on the TV or we hand over, acha, theek hai, there is nothing, you can eat a packet of Lays. So first and foremost thing, we are the one who hand over these things to our children without even realizing that this can become a habit if it goes for a long time. Now, where if your child a little bit older, where he can read or understand what you are talking about, you just make them aware reading the ingredients, right? That is something that can help. It has helped my children reading the ingredients. So when I talk about real fruit juice, it has lots of sugar, which is not good for you. When you make the child aware about those ingredients, like it comes in a hierarchical way. So first thing is sugar in the real fruit juice, and then the juice a little bit, and then all acidity regulators and all those things. So it is in hierarchy, right? So you see, the second thing is sugar. We are not here to just have loads and loads of sugar. We want to have juice. So beta, can we have juice at home or to a shop nearby, or just read a label? Probably you will find a couple of products where the juice is more and the sugar is less. So the mothers just need to be aware, just need to see the labels and read them out and ask the child also to read and understand. Then you mix and match, and once in a while you can pick up something like that if you want to. That's absolutely fine.
Right.
There can be exceptions always.
Thank you. Thank you for these, inputs. And Shweta, I believe that the mothers community at Baby Chakra had a wonderful insight onto beautiful tips that you have given us onto how to tackle my fussy eater, and you sharing your story for about your toddler and the hard times that you face. It was very, very enlightening and a very delightful talk. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Shweta, one last giveaway for all the moms who are in this phase, because these are, millennial moms and the next generation moms. Their upbringing is completely, entirely different to what we have done to our children. So, any
Hmm.
giveaway message for our moms community?
Just one thing is, because I am a mindfulness coach, again, just be mindful to what you are feeding your child. Be with them, along with them. Don't just go what others are saying, or don't match or compare your child with somebody else. It's your child and it is the way you are. So lead them by example. Be an example for them. You cannot expect to you eating something unhealthy and want your child to eat healthy all the time. So lead by example and be mindful for the choices you make for your children.
Thank you, Shweta, for giving us that mantra of being mindful. And I hope these mothers in the community would definitely take it up. It was a very delightful session with you. Thank you for joining in for this live session.
Thank you so much, Pooja. It was a lovely interacting with you.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.